Hey, welcome
Hey
to
guys.
a spontaneous episode of Unfiltered and Intentional. Yay! That's how
Yeah.
we do. That's how we do. So happy that we're able to get on this chat and talk. And it's been a minute since we were able to just kind of have a conversation. The only difference is that we're live compared to be on a phone. Like, hey guys, you heard what's going on? So I was like, it's been a
Mm-hmm.
minute. It's been a minute. I hope you guys are well. I haven't talked to you guys in a minute. So it's good to see you, Specs. I see you over there shining. It's good to see you, Liz. Mama. But no, like I said, it's really good. Like I said, a long time ago, the premise of the conversation of the show was just to have a conversation amongst friends, amongst family. Wherever you are right now, Ty, we love you still.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, yeah, just having a conversation, talking about all different types of topics. So even if you join in now, later, afar, it's good to hear from you. I'm glad we're able to talk to you before this new year ends, 2022. Um, so this actual conversation is 2022, a year in review. So much shit has happened.
Listen.
Yes, it has
Yeah.
happened. And you know what? It may get worse in 2023. I don't know. But the way we're gonna do things right now, guys. Of course, we want the audience to always chime in whenever you drop in now or later. But we have papers. We have small little papers folded up. We don't know what
Mm-hmm.
side of them. But they're different topics, all different topics that happen throughout the year.
Okay.
So from Kanye to the slap with Will Smith, from the WNBA, Brittany Griner, just any topic that happened without. Oh yes, we love that shirt too. What does the shirt say?
Advancing the legacy every day.
Yeah. So with
Absolutely.
that being
Absolutely.
said, exactly. So we're gonna be
That's-
picking topics randomly. It's not going to be flowing in any type of direction, but we're going to be talking about it the same way if it was just us three on the phone chatting it up. Like, did you hear this bullshit? So,
oh, Lord
before I
Jesus.
start off anything, I don't have any current events because we're going to be talking about the current events.
That's kind of
You
the
got
point,
anything to
right?
say, Liz?
Right.
Yes, actually, I'm going to invite the audience, drop in with any headlines that stood out to you this year, anything you feel like we just can't not talk about, and we'll throw it in the mix. So keep those comments coming. You know, we appreciate you guys. I miss you guys. I miss Kia. I miss Specs. I miss everybody at home. Thanks for tuning in tonight.
Okay.
Yes. I see you, Specs. It's been a minute, Specs. We got to talk. Like, what up, bro?
Right? What's going on?
But we can get
Yeah.
into it. Oh, what
Yeah. Like I
happened?
had a real wild year. So, but we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about
Okay.
that
Oh,
later.
you already drinking? I want to let you know I had some Ciroc before the show. So you got it right there on deck. Okay. Oh yeah, Donald Trump's
Yeah.
taxes. Oh, I love that
Oh,
one.
that's how
So
we're
yeah,
coming in?
that's
Okay.
yeah. So I'm
Now,
gonna start off, and then you
Mm-hmm.
guys. Let me see. Let me see what my lucky little pick is. I'm not looking. That's this one here. We have. Ooh, I didn't want to start off so serious, but mass shootings.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
Unfortunately, we had a lot of mass shootings this year in 2022. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
the numbers are going up. Unfortunately, we have cases that have not been resolved. Uvalde,
Mm-hmm.
they're still in the mix. They're still trying to point blame
That's a
on
whole different.
this one, where a
Yeah.
whole school in Texas got shot up.
Yeah.
And so many kids died. We won't even speak about the actual shooter that did it, but it was a in that situation somebody dropped the ball on that, and I think that was the government. It was the
Somebody dropped the ball. A lot of somebody's dropped the
yeah,
ball. And thank God
Yeah.
for the
Oh,
one
yeah.
guy that was off duty, that was border patrol, that went and stopped somebody in an elementary school from having
Right.
these children. The kids, a lot of the kids that died, they didn't even die from the gunshot wound. They died from bleeding out. That's how long it took anybody
yes,
to get there to help them. That situation is so infuriating. beyond infuriating.
And it's still going on. This is something that it has not been solved. This is something that they're still, going back and forth with the red tape, trying to find out who to place blame on. They can't even fire anyone. No one wants to step down from their positions. It's just really a fuck fest. And unfortunately, our prayers go out to that family. And we say that constantly, even when we talk, amongst ourselves on the show, whatever, because we constantly talk about these mass shootings. The Buffalo, New York. Was it Buffalo, New York, if I'm not mistaken? The supermarket.
Oh, that's another one. Yep.
Yes, that happened also.
Okay.
And I mean, we
this year?
It was this year. 2020.
That was
It was
this year.
this
Yeah.
year.
It's been just so many. Like
You had
Jesus.
another gay club that got shot up. That was Colorado, right? Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
recently,
Colorado.
yes. In Colorado. So yes, I mean, in reference to that, where like I said, these topics that we had, there were a lot of different things to talk about. So we're not going to just talk about the mass shootings, but we definitely want to let you guys know that our thoughts and prayers go out. We have to be able to stay strapped ourselves. I'm a firm believer of carrying something, to make sure that if it goes down, you got something.
But what do I know?
Well, and even if you don't believe in guns or those, I seen Spec zooming in. Even if you don't have something that you're carrying on you, but at least know, be safe, stay safe. Have those exit plans, have those strategies. Always have your cell phone charged if possible. Just being able to know, just to stay safe, because these are some crazy times that we're living in.
They are some crazy times.
Shootings. Your turn, Liz. What you got?
Real quick, let's get some shout outs to the comment section real quick. We've got good evening, everyone. Missed y'all. That's from Z Winslow. You've got HT put in there that's Hightower. And he said, hello all, happy holidays. And he tossed out there Donald Trump taxes. And we already talked about the shirt. Cash came in with, hey everyone. And I'm going to, so hey everybody. And I'm going to I'm mixing it up.
I hope it's a lighter topic. I didn't want to start off with mass shootings, but that's what I grabbed.
I mean, lighter. You know what I will say? Hightower did bring up Donald Trump taxes, and I had just Donald Trump. So
that's a good segue.
I guess.
That's going to be a new president, guys?
I mean, it's lighter. He's a clown, right? So funny.
You think he's better than Biden?
No, but he's a cult leader, so he can win with 30% if people are lazy in 24. So we'll see.
I think that's going to be a new president, if not that DeSantis.
Yeah, we still have to see how he plays, because he plays well in Florida, but nationally we still got to see, because he's not that charismatic. Like you gotta be charismatic. But for that job, you got to be charismatic. He's good for Florida, but when they test him in like some other markets, they were like, no, he's not good. So we
you know what it is. So I've heard. Now I'm not speaking for every Democratic person, but I've heard that a lot of people feel that Biden is sleepy, and because Biden is so sleepy, they may not want him. They want some action. Now I don't know. I don't know. Who am I?
Well, first,
that's the propaganda on the right, because as in, we should look at his accomplishments. No, he's kicking ass. So
preach.
You can't really,
Facts, tell him.
He's kicking ass. And then, like,
I'm just making comments.
No. I'm just saying that, like, so like the propaganda is sleeping, because you can't say can't flow out his looks.
We can't hear you.
It just broke up for a short time, so hopefully.
For just a moment, it broke up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're crossing our
1 2 1 2. Oh Lord, 1 2 1 2.
I know. I heard what you said. It could. We can't go off as his looks.
I think we're back. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I heard what you said.
So I was saying, right? Yeah. No. But see, that's the thing. In media, you put on to stuff like that, so people are saying, because you just said it. So that's the thing. It's a thing when somebody that's not a Republican saying something like that, and that works obviously because you said it. So he's had all these accomplishments, but you said first thing you thought about was sleepy. So it does work. So
I'm just repeating stuff.
No, but it's on top of mind. See, that's how hooks go. So all right, so back in the music, back in my past, you want a hot hook. And what a hook is, like when you're fishing and you grab a fish, what you hook it. So once you get something that grabs your attention, that one thing is constant in your head. That's why they do that. So now, top of mind, Sleepy Joe. So when somebody's sleepy, you're not paying attention. You're not that exciting. So these are things that when you say that, you're thinking of. So
right. So I would agree with you in that. I mean, is he somebody you're gonna fall in love with? No, he's not sensational. He's not sexy. He's not he doesn't get a rise out of you or anything. But look at this, right? First, I mean, and it's so funny because we started Donald Trump and we pivoted to Joe Biden immediately. Funny because he was another one of my topics, but okay, we'll get there. But here's the thing, right? I know a couple months ago we were on the phone celebrating something like student loan forgiveness. Thank you, Joe. I know. Like, these are things that I know, right? I know that little old Ukraine was just a little neighborhood that Russia thought they were going to roll over on their way to Europe. And thanks to Sleepy Joe, they're not the ones to play with, right? And so he's fighting a whole ass proxy war through them. No one's even paying attention, right? Because sometimes you got to be silent but deadly, right? I know that Brittany Griner's home. I know, I know a few things are working to our advantage, right? I know inflation is sky high, but I know a lot of people that are making more money now than they've ever made before. So I know that the job market is crazy hot. I know that if you want to work right now, you're working. I know that if you are working, you're making more money than you've ever made. So I know a lot of good things that I could say about, Mr. Ray-Bans over there.
Saying here, it says, it seems as long as Trump was promoting the America First, or rather white people first agenda, a lot of the country looked the other way on taxes and more. Most definitely. And then we have HT that says, in the end, it's going to be left to the Electoral College. Most definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah.
But you know what though? We will see shortly. I mean, very, very soon. I mean, I know we're talking now. It's a couple more days will be 2023. But just like that, we're gonna have a conversation. We're all gonna have some expression on our face. We're gonna have some type of expression. We're gonna hit each other up. We're gonna go live, like, hey, do you see this? So we'll see pretty sure. But in reference to Donald Trump, it's somebody that you love to hate, I suppose. He is very entertaining. When Donald Trump came back into scene, I'm like, oh, where he been? I like to laugh, so he's always been that slapstick for me. But at the end of the day, he does still have a base. He does have people who still follow him and love him, and he can't do no wrong. Unfortunately, that's how America is. But let me go on to the next topic real quick. Oh, we just mentioned her, WNBA Brittany Griner. Do you guys feel that she should have came back instead of working on somebody else and letting them, like the soldiers that are over there, or
no?
Do you think just to appease? So I heard some people say it was just to appease the black vote.
Wait a minute, what soldiers that are over there?
There's one soldier that's over there.
There's one.
Is
one Marine that was dishonorably discharged.
So he's not a veteran. He was a soldier, and he's a citizen of Canada and one other country. What other country? Because he got 3 citizenship.
But
he's not a veteran.
Though, even Brittany Griner is promoting for other people that are left over there to come home. She's doing that too. That's on her campaign. But a lot of people said, "Hey, that was just to get the black vote." What is your opinion on that?
Well, yeah. All right. So she was like the biggest name over there. The other one was a probably was a spy or just selling. He was selling something, right? Because that's already known. And he was so terrible that he's a Trumper, and Trump was like, "Nah, I'm good." Trump was like, "I'm good,"
and that's saying a lot, right?
2 years. He was like, Trump. He was like, Trump, please tweet, do this. And Trump was like, nah, I'm good, son. And gave a peace sign and kept it moving. So
Yep.
that's why he's still over there. But for her, that was a thing. That was a big pull for the black people just because the WNBA is, I didn't know that was still a thing. Truthfully, I didn't. But to pull her back from that was a big pull. That was something he's like, I see you. That was a see you thing because he could have left and he could have did it Trump. He did it for us to show us he see us because she wasn't a big name. She could have just went over there, boom, left her. Why? And she got caught with some shit. She did.
I'll say this. This is not her first time.
Get caught with nothing.
Well, here's the kicker. This is not her first rodeo over there. She works over there because this is something that it brought national attention to. The WNBA does not get paid the same as the NBA. Now, we understand there's more views and more fans for the NBA, so they get more advertisement, this, that, and the third. But just in general, if they pay a superstar woman, a basketball player, $40,000, you could make $40,000, typing up something at your desk as somebody's receptionist. So they go overseas to make extra money because this is another way that they can live out their career and their dream and get paid a little bit more. I think she was getting paid like $1 million or whatever. But I'll tell you this, at the end of the day, if you go over in any other country and they don't have the same rules as America, especially during the climax that we're in, because Russia is beefing kind of with everybody at this point, it behooves you to make sure that you double check your baggage and double check what you got going on.
Right.
I would be very cautious of what I bring.
All right.
Anybody that's ever traveled.
Saying a lot that I gotta get in there, right? So if a doctor, right, prescribes you medicine that you go to a pharmacy and pick up, which is what she had, right? She had a prescription from a doctor that wasn't even, as far as my understanding goes, it wasn't even like something that you ingest, right? It was like cannabis oil, right? And again, I can't stress to you the fact that she got it from a doctor. She's an athlete, and that's what she uses for pain management, right? That's something, I'll be honest with you, and I'm really big on, if you go to other countries, you want to know their laws and you want to this, that, and the third. I think that if a doctor gave me something and that it's something that I've always had, I think I would probably take that for granted. I just would, right? That would be like expecting somebody to know that you can't wear blue socks in China, it's red socks only. Like, it's just something you wouldn't even think about. So as much as you want to dot your I's and cross your T's, there's some things that are just so, who would have thought of that? There's a lot of absinthe, for example, right? I mean, but absinthe is something you can drink freely in Europe, right? You can't sell it, you can't buy it here in the United States. But if you're European and you're used to just going to the bar and ordering up a shot or whatever it is, then you wouldn't really think anything of it. Like, I'm coming home for the holidays, I'm taking my parents some absinthe, and you get here and you get caught with it, and you're like, oh shit, right? But you wouldn't know that.
But true story. So there was a guy in Dubai. He did not smoke any weed in Dubai because it's against the law. He didn't smoke any weed in the law, but he hurt himself. And they have the free healthcare and everything. He goes to the doctor and they check him out. In the process of anybody that gets checked out, they run blood work. Before he went to Dubai, was in Vegas, where weed is legal, and he smokes. So he smokes. It's in his system. He goes to Dubai. Guess who's locked up in Dubai? Now, he had never known, like, wait a second, I thought I couldn't smoke there. But it's the fact that it's in your bloodstream. I caution everybody. I mean, I think people take things for granted, especially if you don't really know too much about international travel, whatever the case may be. People take other countries for granted. Like you said, because they do it over here, maybe
we do that.
It's all good over there.
We as Americans are very arrogant. And when we travel to places, the arrogance is, I'm an American, I do this at home. No other people in the world do that shit. We do that because of our arrogance. You have to learn what you can and cannot do, because many people that I know that have traveled through the years know their shit when they come here. We feel as Americans, you should obey our laws in your country. That has always been bullshit. So I get it, but there's somebody that's traveled, and I'm sure she traveled more than I have, and I know that, and I get cannabis as a prescription because of my anxiety. So, but I know that because I know about the American arrogance and how that catches us. So I get it if she wasn't her, but she travels. She's a
Well, she
WNBA
has a
basketball star.
publicist, and she has a lot of people that work for her in her camp.
So she has a team. So I get it when you're a regular person and you're like, I didn't even know this, but you should. But somebody that does it already, she just got caught with it, and I get it. You know, it's a little bit much, but it's their laws in their country, and you should know that because you travel all the time. That to me is like,
I get it.
I'm like
There's
this, yo, like, okay.
an old saying that my grandmother used to say, you know, that police officers would say, ignorance of the law is no excuse. You can't sit and say, well, I didn't know that. I didn't know because this is what, well, you know what, unfortunately, you know, and that's how a lot of people do get got.
Before we move on to the next topic.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Before we move on to the next topic, the one thing I'm gonna toss out there. I know you guys kind of at the beginning of this conversation mentioned like it was something he did for the Black community. Really? I mean, she wasn't Michael Jordan. She wasn't, you know, LeBron James. She wasn't like, you know what I mean? It's. I think that might be kind of a reach. She wasn't well known. She's not some like superstar. I mean, if you're the 1/18% of America that watches the WNBA, maybe possibly you knew her name, but chances are you did not. I don't think this was a for the Black community thing. I think this was just some bullshit that this girl got tied up in over there over some nonsense. She was low level. She was not a threat to anybody. She was not a risk to anybody. She was a woman that needed help, and this is one of those things that I don't see the race card necessarily being a part of it. I mean, there's always, you know, advantages. I mean, I'm sure it's also a thing for like the LGBTQ community that she happened to be gay. You know what I mean? And I'm sure it was, you know, it's a lot of you could check a lot of boxes with her. It was a win for women's rights and Black people and gay people and all of that. But I think at the end of the day, this was just somebody that needed help from her country and that we came through. And I don't really know if it was, you know, scoring points for anybody.
I totally feel, you know, I'm a firm believer that you get your own, do what you got to do to get everybody that needs to be getting out, you know, because some people literally are spies and they doing some shit. You just got caught up and that's the name of the game. But you did something, your country's there, the embassy's there, you know, get it while it's done. A lot of people didn't like the fact that, you know, during the time of the national anthem, she would sit down or whatever, like, oh, this is until my country gets it right, whatever. So a lot of people are like, well, I bet you'll stand up for the national anthem now. I hope she still sits it out because at the end of the day, be true to yourself. You know, she did not stand up for the national anthem because she's like, hey, there's parts of the country, there's things in the country that need to be fixed. Just because she was in the jam and her country helped her still doesn't mean that we're going to take away from
the other things are fixed. Right.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, of course, everybody has their own little viewpoint, but.
I'm sorry, I started a little bit. Here's my thing with that. I didn't know who she was like before this, right?
That's my point.
But here's how media works. She had a groundswell. So she had all those groups you just mentioned. Now tagging her name, hashtag this, all this. So she had an LGBTQ community. She had the Black community. She had a WNBA that I didn't know was still a thing. And all of this is a groundswell. So all of this is a groundswell. I did. I thought that shit stopped years ago. I was like, that's still a thing? So, but all that groundswell made her something. So now she is the WNBA because I think they had a superstar on that show. I didn't, you know, but now look at her. Now you're looking at who is this chick? Who is this? So the next season, because I think they play in the summer, I believe. Next time she plays, everybody's watching just because she was her, she did all this. I don't know how she plays any of that. But because of this, now the WNBA really is a thing. She is a star, and now people are watching.
Right.
You had Z say it was half a cannabis vape cartridge. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm definitely glad that she's home. Somebody. How do y'all feel about who we released to get her back?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Also bullshit. The arms dealer. Yeah, no, that was not a fair trade. Like, what in the world? Like,
yeah.
What? But you know what?
I'd say for me, I can say this. Even though by title, this guy is the arms dealer. Like you can put Victor about, and you know he's the crazy, the crazy man. Blah blah blah. I have to say we do our dirt. The CIA is known for being armed. Like they're a professional arms dealer, arms agency, you know, and we're not singling them out and this and that. I'll say this: there's a lot of things that we as civilians or people who are not in the government anymore, such as myself, are not privy to. Me working in the military and being a veteran, I've seen a lot of things that the Merchant of Death. Thank you. I've seen a lot of things that you would just assume would be this way, but behind closed doors, there's a lot of other stuff going on, and a lot of different things happening. So I guess I have mixed feelings about it. But that's a whole story.
Here's my thing with that. If anybody's ever watched Star Wars, America is the Empire. Make no mistake. We are the Empire. I like going out and my freedom and all that stuff, but know this. We are the Empire. We are the most evil. There is no I don't care what you want to say. I don't care what you want to say about it. And I love this country, all this stuff. All that. I got it. But know this. But I still know I still know where I live. I know this. We are the Empire. Like when America walks in, you hear that theme music like, oh shit. So I mean, like he was a merchant of death. So
he gave the perfect answer, guys. He gave the perfect answer.
Yeah. I can't even. You know what? I think let's get to the next topic. Y'all ready?
Yeah, thank you. That was perfect.
All right. Oh Lord. Nick Cannon just welcomed his 12th baby in 9 months, y'all. Go.
He can pay for it.
I'll say that the rate that Black men are dying in America, we need somebody to repopulate, but I don't know if it should be that way. I'll say that, you know, if he likes it, I love it, but do you really have enough time to spend with all 12 kids in different environments? Like if you say I'm welcoming the 12th kid to the same woman, yeah, that'd be a little stressful, but at the same time, congrats. Because back in the day, you know, you have a grandma who had 15 kids or whatever. I mean, back in the days, people just popped out babies. But he
doesn't have time to spend time with one kid. He's making the next one.
Yeah, he doesn't have time.
Well, here's the thing. All right, so a lot of women might hate me about this, but all right. Back in the day, I think it was like the king or whoever. When you had like 12 or 10 kids or whatever, you had to take care of them. You had to take care of them, and the mothers didn't have to want. That left, and dudes having kids and can't take care of them. He's taking care of his kids as a man was taught to do. Right now, he's probably not being like a nurturer, like the old school mother would be. He's the old school dad of saying, "I'm taking care of the whole household," and he's doing it with 12 kids. So from that point of it, he's doing it. I can't say as a man that I'm mad at him because he's taking care of his kids. I'm sorry, somebody's light in my face. I'm charging my car, people. I'm sorry. So he's taking care of his kids. He's actually, and not his kids. I'm sorry. He's taking care of the mothers and his kids. He's paying enough that they can chill. So I can't say as a man. Omega can say whatever she wants about it. As a man, I'm like, damn. So she can just sit at home and just collect a check for 18 years, and he's paying the child support, huh? So
yeah, okay.
Go ahead.
Cash said, if I'm Mariah and the twins, I'm wondering, do we need to get to know every new sibling and every new mother and all their families?
Probably not.
You gotta know your brothers and sisters.
Yeah, they want to know, but she probably I am not touching that. So yeah, we'll see about that.
And so then Hightower chimed in, as long as he can pay for them and take care of them, I guess the words say, let your quiver be full. Here's my thing, right? Nick Cannon be damned. I don't care one way or the other what he wants to do, right? But here's what's actually disgusting. Like, women, can I just let me talk to you for a minute, right? Don't sleep with somebody that's sleeping with everybody. It's not good for your health. The only thing I hear about when I hear about these babies is, oh, babies are blessings and they're cute. Yeah, but this is nasty. How you have 12 babies in 9 months? Like, can we just, do you know how much unprotected sex that is? You remember when we were growing up and we were just learning about sex? They said everybody you sleep with, you're sleeping with everybody they slept with.
Right.
Like that to me just sounds so nasty. Like, why not just sit around grinding toilet bowls all day? Because like it's the same thing. That's disgusting.
Keep it unfiltered. No. You know what's so funny? You said that? I did not think about that because I was gonna say, well, maybe he's using protection. Well, no, he's not because they're pregnant.
Because he's
no, they're not using protection. That's the point. Like literally. Oh my God. You know what? Here, okay, I'm gonna gross y'all out for a second. Can I just be real nasty for just a second, right? So way back when I worked at a video rental store, like a neighborhood type video rental store, and it had a back room. When I tell you, you could not pay me at all to be the person that had to go clean that back room. Like to me, I hear this story, and every time I hear it, I think about that back room and why you would want to be the woman that is cleaning that back room with your coochie. Like that's just me being gross, but I'm sorry. It's just
are clapping, people.
I don't get it. I can't.
I'm not. Okay. Yo, every man is like this. Like women like ill, but men are like, yo, he got like 12 dimes. So yeah.
And you got to think they don't get pregnant. Every woman he sleeps with is not going to get pregnant the first time. So he's sleeping with that many women, that many times. Like I said, he can't even be spending time with these kids. He's not getting out of bed. Like what's going on?
Y'all don't hear the sound of the cheeks clapping, y'all. Oh, I'm sorry.
And the more you talk, like the more every dude is getting envious. Like for real, damn, that's right. He had sex 12 times. He could be like, "I'll be back."
Yeah, stop clapping.
Oh, I thought that's the cheeks clapping. You know, boop,
yeah.
Right.
Next topic. Go, Kia. You pull.
Yes, because I don't want to talk about dirty.
I'm about to buy his album. Okay. Does he still rap? Shit, I'm about to buy his album. The fuck? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The instruction manual.
Okay.
How the fuck?
This is a good segue. Kanye and Kim Kardashian and child support. Should we be paying a billionaire child support?
Why the hell not?
Yeah, why not? Like, he's not feeling that, and it's more principle because he's not feeling it, and she's not really feeling it either. You know, so that's more principle because the money she gets from him is not moving her. She's not like, now I can get this. So that's all principle. That's public and principle. That has nothing to do with child or need. So it's fine because it's rich people with rich people, but it's not. Usually child support is like, the child's in school, I need this. If he gave her nothing, that child wouldn't have any less. And he can give her $1 million a week, that child wouldn't have any more. So this is all just principle and public. It's not really a thing for the child. So know that.
Actually, I think it is for the child. You can't have a father that can just walk away from you with absolutely no response. And it could be the mother too. It could have gone the other way, right? You can't have a parent that just is not responsible for you. I think there's something morally wrong with that. So as a child, I think it's important. I mean, not as a child, but being a child in that situation, I think that it is morally important to know that, you know what, both my parents contribute to my well-being. So yeah, it's for the children. Does it actually move the needle in terms of how fantastic and fabulous their life is? No. But you know, at the end of the day, and who knows how she's gonna do it, but I know if I were, for example, in a crazy situation like that, I'd put all that money in an account, and when the kid turns of age, and I mean not 18, I mean like a sensible age, say 25 or something, whatever business they want to start, that is their seed money. And you know what? This is what your father did for you. He set you up to take this and create yourself a business. And I hope that you're successful, because my billions are mine and you need to figure it out. So, you know,
it's just funny. I mean, I totally agree with you guys. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the mother or father, whoever the custodial parent is, has. reference to finances, you still need to play your part.
Yeah.
I think the frustrating thing is you have, I don't know, because the system itself is so warped, you have the parents who abuse the system, and then you have the parents who don't abuse the system. And
Right.
since you have them all in a big mesh pool, when you mention the subject just in general, everyone's like, oh, because this kind of makes me think about the happened in 2020. 50 Cent's son had got online like, you ain't never did nothing for me. You gave me $6,000 a month. That ain't nothing, boo, 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 boo. And people were flipping. What do you mean $6,000 a month isn't nothing? My baby daddy only gives me $40 a month. I would do so much with, so they were saying that this guy,
that story was terrible.
Yeah, well, they were saying the boy was a loser and this, but at the same time,
oh no, like 50,
he's worth
so
$400 million.
But 50 set him out with several businesses, and dude shitted on all of them when he really came out. I was one business is just one story in that. So 50 Cent's son loves tennis shoes like a lot of young men. So 50 Cent was in Atlanta, and the store was closing. He bought out all the inventory at cost. So he bought it all out and went to his son and said, okay, don't rent a place. We're going to put it in storage and you can sell it online, because he wanted to do it online. 50 Cent, his mom shitted on him, and he was like, yo, but that's one of his businesses. So the child support was one thing, but 50 Cent still gave him businesses. And shitted on him. No, because I did too. All that shit came out, and then the son was like, well, what about this? And he was like, I gave you this, and then they would go back and forth. I was like, yo, that's why people start hating on him, like the son, like, yo, he gave you a whole store for nothing. Like you didn't pay for no rent. Everything was online, and you got all the inventory, and you still just let that shit go. It was like, fuck it. So my thing with that was his son was just entitled. Period. And that's why some billionaires like, you know what, I ain't gonna give you shit. I'll set you up with a business and you make it work. That's why, because 50 Cent's son was so entitled, he felt he should got money for nothing. And that was sad.
So Cash said, I agree, Liz. If you are the non-custodial parent, then you need to be contributing financially regardless of the circumstance. And Hightower chimed in with, now that's what child support is for, Liz. Right. The idea of child support is to support the child, right? And now it's so funny because we've gotten caught up on thinking that support is just a monetary thing. What I was just talking about is kind of mental support and emotional support, because again, you are teaching, he has sons, right? He cannot teach his sons to have babies and just not provide for them, whether they have it or not. Like, I mean, there's a lot of support that he's meant to provide there, and he's failing on just about every other front. You know how embarrassing it must be for Kanye to be your freaking father, billionaire or not. He's hateful as shit. He hates entire groups of people. So as a child, his children have to walk out in the public and, your dad's an anti-Semite and your dad's anti-black, for that matter, which is cuckoo. That is a lot of things. It's crazy.
I don't know the girls. I'm sorry to cut you off, Liz. Since you just mentioned the child real quick, the oldest child, she be drawing demonic pictures. She be drawing stuff in her mama's face. I see her beating her mama ass. I'm like, what the hell? Like
I didn't see that one. She no, crazy though.
It wasn't a fight like, arrest her, but like she had did something, like Kim was like doing something like, hey baby, and she was like, get out of here, and she like swung on her. I was like, oh snap, like they got a crazy relationship. So we're gonna put her in prayer as well. Let me go on. Oh, you got to pick a topic. Go pick a topic.
Okay. Well, one other thing I'll say while we were on the Kim and Kanye thing, we talked about child support. I don't even think that's the biggest thing that came out of that story. I think that we sanction as a society, we almost sanction the level of abuse against Kim just because maybe we don't like Kim. But like, the stalking her and moving in next to her, coming for her boyfriend, blasting her all over TV and the radio and every chance he got and everything else. Not cool, not even a little bit. It doesn't matter that it's her. It doesn't matter. Nothing. If it was one of us and I was calling you up, hey Kia, like, this dude is like coming for my new man, or hey Kia, like, he's all over social media bashing me. So hey Kia, he's talking bad about me to my kids, or whatever the case is. Like, I just don't know how that would go over in any other realm other than the two of them, where somehow it was entertaining and kind of funny. And look what he said about Pete, and look at or
Now
Skeet
people
or
let
whatever
him
he was
go.
calling him. It was wild.
We're gonna
Our,
touch on the
our
Kanye.
people are
That's
let
one of the topics.
our people are
Kanye
letting him
and
go.
Kyrie.
I can't stand him. Our people are letting him go. When he said that about black people, I lost it.
Oh
So
no.
when he
We're
starts
gonna
talking
talk
about
about
Jewish
that. We're
people,
gonna
I'm
talk
sorry.
about that. We're gonna talk about
Okay.
that. Go ahead, Liz.
So all right. So let's see. Let's go with I got Royal T. Not royalty, but royal tea. So
Spin on
that's
words. Spin on words.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry and them burning down the establishment from which they came.
So
So
I seen the documentary.
Oh,
And I like the documentary. I like the documentary because it starts off talking about a love story, right? Two people, they found each other through their DMs. I love you, I love you, I love you, love you, love you. But once they talked about the pressure and they compared her issues to Princess Diane and how the media, the paparazzi runs England over there. Like they're the ones who run shit over there. And regardless if you believe it or not, because of course we don't have a monarch over here, so we're not treated the same way. Some of us really don't care. I love the fact that the documentary touched on white supremacy. I love the fact that documentary talked about colonialism, and that's what made the media, especially the people that follow that lineage, go in a frenzy. Because when you start talking the truth and you start talking about, well, wait a second, let's talk about how she got her money. Wait a second, let's talk about those brooches that she was wearing. Oh, wait a second, let's talk about the fact that now that you are adding African descent to the monarch, what that really means. Let's talk about these things. Wait, she can't really truly be a duchess and her kids, Archie, be a part of that because of this. And I love the fact that her man eventually rode for her. Like he was caught up in the system, especially his brother. But at the end of the day, he was like, I'm about to throw all this shit away to screw all y'all because the system has to change. And even though I may just be this one guy here, but at least it starts with me. So I like the documentary because they spoke on facts and they talked about white supremacy in its totality. And it was like going back all the way in the they was like, and in the 1700s, so and so. I was like, damn, let me get my notepad out. When did this start? Like they was talking, they was going in deep. What do you guys have to say about it?
I mean, it's funny because I actually did not watch the documentary. If I'm being honest with you, I don't really have any intention of watching it. I don't necessarily apathetic towards the royal family. I mean, while we're at it, we can throw in like Queen Elizabeth's in there. I mean, you know, we all kind of know who she is and we know enough about it to whatever. But honestly, it doesn't affect me one way or the next. I mean, it is cool that you got yourself a mixed princess, right? Because I mean, she's as black as Mariah Carey is, and no one's claiming her either. You know what I mean? So you're like, okay, I'm generally speaking kind of apathetic about the whole thing. I think it's mildly fascinating at best. Right, they're a cute couple. They've been through some stuff. I think Harry has had a chip on his shoulder for a long, long time, just based on his mother and the way that whole thing went down, and the fact that Grandma was probably tied up in that somehow. That's always been the rumor. You know what I mean? He had to have gotten a whiff of that growing up, and he got a chance to try to set things straight and make things right. What I will say, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong on this, right? Obviously, Meghan Markle is no Barack Obama. But the one thing I will tell you is that she better not screw this up. Like, you know what I mean? You guys remember when Barack Obama was in office? It was like, yo, he better not ever cheat on his wife. He better not ever get caught doing nothing crazy. He better be the most straight-laced person of color that has ever walked the earth, right? I will say, especially for the way that, he decided to ride for her, to go with Kia's way of putting it. I think that she better never, ever, 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 ever mess anything up, because, oh my God. And that's, it's weird to put her on the same stage as Barack Obama in that way. But yeah, at this point, I do have the same expectations for her.
He gave up a kingdom for her. So that's the thing. Like, yo, so it's, that's, you said it correctly.
Before we go to the comment that came in about her, I'll say this. Before the prince ever came around, she did her own philanthropy. She did a lot of. She's real for women's rights and this, and she had her own huge platform. Just in general, if you followed her in that realm in reference to women's rights and having a voice of your own, and like I said, if you have a system, regardless of what system that is, and you try to come in and change the system, because Kate, the other princess that's there, she's more docile as well. You know, Megan's a little bit more outspoken. You know what I'm saying? So if you have something that's very monotone and bland, and you come in trying to, change up stuff, people don't like change, especially if you are of a certain shade. So I hope that the relationship does last and she don't fuck up, because, and I say she shouldn't fuck up only because it will then add to what the stereotype is. Well, you see, I told you, like we said, like you mentioned about Barack Obama, like everybody was waiting, and
still are. And they still are.
Yeah, they are.
She is a black woman standard. If she does something, they will use that against black women for probably 100 years.
Yeah. But it's a shame. I'm glad. I mean, like I said, you may say what you want to say about Barack Obama. You know, that's a whole different topic in reference to his political stance on stuff. But when it comes to scandals, he didn't have any. The biggest scandal he had was that he wore a tan suit. So, I mean, all the other of them have something going on. But let's see this comment here.
It's let's see. Cash said Megan and Kanye, for me, were examples of celebrity trying to use the larger black community to fight personal battles. Facts. All the way.
Okay.
Well, I'll say this. If you're going to make it known, which was a taboo topic, talking about colonialism and what it did to India, what it did to the Caribbean islands, what it did to so many Australia and the Aborigines and all this, that, and the third, I say go use it. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people in America are like, what? It has nothing to do with me. I don't care. But you know what? Those Aborigines are black. The Caribbeans are black. And a lot of people don't know about black African not African American history, but African history. And she fucked up a lot of people's lives. So I'm glad that the documentary's out there and they're talking about it.
I need to see it. I haven't seen it yet, and I was in Bermuda September, and that's a colony that's a British colony, and I didn't know that at first, but going there and talking to the people and all that, I was like, oh, so the culture is different, but it's British colony kind of thing. So to see that, and I was like, oh, they really do move different, and they really do lean on Britain and the UK full guidance. I was like, oh my God, that's a thing here. But yeah, that's a thing. It's a thing. I was like, oh.
Right, let me go pick out something.
Now, I have to apologize. I didn't know this was going to happen today, so I'm out driving doing my thing, and my phone was not charged up properly today, so I'm at like 3%. So yeah.
If you cut off, we understand.
Yeah, so I didn't want to be like, and Kanye and be like,
gone.
Yeah, if
right,
you cut
gone, so,
off, we just want to say Happy New Year to you, Specs. It was good to talk to you. We haven't talked to you in a long time.
I know, right? It's been a lot, but yeah, God is good, and the universe is a beautiful thing. So
back to Kanye and Kyrie.
Yeah,
Mr. Kanye.
So first of all, why is anti-Semitism in style this year? Like, what year is this and why? Like, I'm so confused. What is going on? Did I miss a memo? Because I feel like out of nowhere it became, this boom of hate the Jews. Like it's the 20s again, and I mean, I guess it is the 20s again. Never mind.
Yeah,
check myself.
But Kanye took it to a whole different level. When he went after black people and then went after Jews, I was telling somebody that's such a fan of his, I was like, I know the type of dude he is, and we all do, because he is wanting to be the dog and sit at the feet of the Anglo. He shits on black people, he shits on Jews, but he does it at the feet of the oppressor. That's the worst kind of nigger. Because he's truly a nigger. Like
first of all, he told us a long time ago who he was, right? He said, and when he get on, you leave your ass for a white girl. He said that about as clearly as possible, right? That the point was to get to a certain level, to get a certain type of woman, and a woman that he felt was a person of value that would match his if he got to that level, right? So this is not shocking. It's not surprising. It's weird that Kanye West is a white supremacist. It's a little strange, but you know, what you gonna do?
I didn't know he was that
in white supremacy, whether he's white or not, right? And that's what white supremacy is.
Yeah, he is. What is that character that was on Django? Samuel L. Jackson's character. He is him. And I'm like, yo, and he's not covering it up. He's not apologizing for it. He's walked. That is his truth. And I was like, whoa, really?
I'll say this: Kanye fucked up when he made something. He had a beef with some individuals. He wanted his merchandise to be shown on a certain platform, and that designer did not want to deal with him. And he decided to take his beef and put it on Twitter, and then label everybody. It's kind of like if I was mad at Liz, and then I'm like, all women that wear black hoodies with red, you know. And unfortunately, he's a terrible communicator, just like Donald Trump is his friend. Actually, Donald Trump said he needs some help. So, I mean, if Donald Trump is pushing you off of him,
that's what is real bad.
That's crazy.
That's the pot cuss in the kettle if I ever seen it. Yes.
Yeah. Trump is like this. Like Trump is like this, yo. So Kanye is just saying now, certain parts of America loves him. They love him. They love him. Like the Fox News, like the ones that really want to just say what they want to say, but can't say because their families tell them you can't say the N-word and all that. They love Kanye. So he preaches to the crowd that he wants to. My thing is the young black men and black women that are still supporting him. And I was online one time, and I'm talking to this young black man, and I said about the slavery thing, and I was like, you do understand slavery was just not work. It was pedophilia. It was raping men, raping women. And you saying to me, I said, sir, you saying to me that was all a choice. That pedophilia was a choice. Women getting raped and men getting raped was a choice. He said, live on your feet or die on your knees. I said, okay. Now, this is now the bitch assness of this dude is like, you couldn't hold their water, the black people that were slaves, you couldn't even hold their water, and you saying that shit. I could probably beat your ass with I mean, that's generally I probably could do that anyway, but with no effort. So why would you even say some shit like that? But that is a weak-minded that think and that stands on somebody else's shoulders and was like, yeah, I could do that. Or I hate people when they do that shit. But they look back in the past and say, I wouldn't do that. Nigga, you probably be the biggest slave with your pants down at your ankles anyway. What are you talking about, nigga? Who are you to say that?
Well, who are you? Unfiltered and intentional.
Like no, like I hate when people don't realize they stand on somebody else's shoulders and try to shit on them when they stand on their shoulders.
I know plenty of people like that.
Yeah. So
some of them listen to the show. Ooh. All right. What was this comment say? Remember, Trump is like Kanye's father. Kanye owns words when he was in the White House. Yeah, he did say that. It's like his daddy.
He did say that. He said a lot of weird things. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Both of them are people I wish we just never spoke about anymore. Like, if I never heard either though, and you know what, Kia? Here's our part where we get to hang our head in shame for just a second. Why they both got to be Geminis?
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm a Gemini, you're a Gemini. I'll tell you this. Geminis have so we're good communicators. We can either be terrible communicators or good. Just so happens that Donald Trump and Kanye are terrible communicators, and we just happen to be great communicators.
Actually, to be honest with you, and I hate to say anything good about them, the fact is it's not necessarily about the communication. It's about the fact that they're charismatic and they get people to follow them and buy into what they're saying no matter what. So truly and honestly, maybe we don't like what they are communicating, but they are effective. They get people to buy in. They get people to follow. They get people locked in that will never give up on them. It is a magnetism that is it's criminally insane, but more so for the people that just so willingly follow them than it is for them, right? And not for nothing, Gemini men and Gemini women are two different things. They tend to be egomaniacs, right? I'm gonna say something damn near sacrilegious, right? So don't come for me. I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna duck, right? But we don't really know just how crazy, for example, Pac might have gotten had he gotten another couple years on him. But it's the same thing, right? Like he catches your attention at first, because I'll be honest with you guys, I liked Kanye at early Kanye. College Dropout was my shit. You know what I mean? But that's the thing, right? There's the hook, right? There's that hook. And they get you. And once they've got you, it's really hard for some people to get off of that hook, right? Like, I'm the kind of person, I'd rather you rip my lip than me to stay on there while you're dragging me out of the water. And I know that I need water to live, right? But, even when you look back at it, like I said, Tupac was a Gemini, right? And he had that hook. But we don't know what would have happened had he lived long enough to be a Kanye. And the track record, per Trump, per Kanye, and a few other, Gemini men might be the ones to avoid on the Zodiac. On the Zodiac.
Simpson. Oh, sorry. Well, let's go back. We got Cash Money right here. It says, I can't agree more, Specs. People who have done nothing criticizing people who endure the impossible. They probably have a brother or cousin in jail right now that they aren't busting out of prison.
Facts.
Yeah.
If you aren't doing anything now, you wouldn't have done anything then. That's so funny that you said that.
No. I don't know who said that, but correct.
That's Cash. That's Cash all day.
Oh, Cash. Yes. Cash Money in the building. Son.
So give me one and I'll do my last one. So we're good on time.
So we've got Twitch and Winona and so many others that have succumbed to suicide and the dangers of depression and all of that. So it got kind of heavy real quick again.
Okay.
Well, definitely. Oh, go ahead, Specs.
Okay. So my phone about to die, but so my past year. So I'm about to be honest with you. Okay. So in the past 2 years, I've lost several people in my life from cancer and a few from COVID. And yesterday was the anniversary of my aunt, which is like my sister, that passed from COVID. So having an issue with depression and anxiety, that was a thing. So you think about suicide, you think about that. So I was drinking. So I was drinking and crying. That's the thing. So I went so far that I had to be hospitalized, and I thought I was going to die, and I needed help, and I got therapy. And a lot of people had no idea. I covered it up well, because you do that. You learn to smile when you're in pain. And in therapy, because I was abused as a child, my family is horrible. A lot of my family is horrible. But I had to deal with that. I had to deal with all of that pain and all of that and the loss. And I'm at a beautiful place right now. But I got help. I prayed, and people that loved me, that were around me, helped me. And then when I dug myself out of that ditch, because you have to do it yourself. You got God on you, but you got to put in the work. And you never know. A lot of people had no idea where I was. They had no idea that I was in a fog, and I just couldn't. Some days I would just stay in the bed and just cry, and I wanted to die. And I have guns. I just didn't want to do it, but I wanted to die. And I was drinking to die. So now I see it, and it was painful, and I will never go back there again. But it's something that sometimes you need to hug somebody. Sometimes if you feel that you want to hug somebody, hug them, because you never know what that means to them. So that's the thing. And I didn't know how real it was until I went through it. Mm-hmm. And so hug somebody. Hug. If you feel it and your spirit is talking to you and the ancestors are like, this person needs a hug, do it. Because you never know where they are.
Thank you for sharing that. I know a comment came in as well saying
Yeah,
personally
personally understandable. Yeah, no, she says personally understandable specs. Much respect for sharing. Yeah, no, seriously, thank you for sharing. Because a lot of times, you know, and on this show, we've always kind of talked about suicide and the helpline. I don't know if you can get that number up there fast enough, but you know, it is one thing when you hear celebrities taking their lives, and it's so almost unrelatable. You know, because I mean, how could you have so much money, or how could you make you know, spend your time making other people laugh and entertaining other people and everything else, and it's so much less relatable than when we hear, you know, just one of us saying, nah, shit's real, like the struggle is real, and I've been there, and I've come out. I'm happy that you came out on the better end of that. You know, thank you for sharing. Thank you for making it relatable, because a lot of people are going through this and feel like it's different than when Twitch went through it. It's different than Winona went through it. You know what I mean? And everything else, right? Because you would think those are people that had access to resources. They had access to the masses, right? They had people that bought into them and loved. They had fan bases and everything else, right? And like, if I'm going through that, I don't feel that I can relate to that. So even though it's depression, and depression is one and the same, right? Suicidal thoughts are one and the same. The result could possibly be one of two, you know what I mean? And the same. But it's something to know that you're not in it alone. The everyday Joe is going through it. Thanks again for sharing. Can't stress that to you enough, guys. You're not alone. You are not alone, right? You're not alone. As Beck said, you've got God on your shoulder. You've got help, right? And I know sometimes those helplines, even that sounds a bit alien. Yo, call anybody. Call anybody, right? And stop looking to the internet for answers to real life issues or whatever the case is.
That alone feeling was amazingly horrible. And when you find out that you're not alone, is a beautiful thing. But when you feel like you're alone, nobody hears you, and you feel like you're underwater, you feel like you're drowning, and nobody's there. People are around you, but they don't see you, and you're just like, and you sink, and you can feel the sinking in your heart and your soul. And I remember that feeling, and it's scary. I was like, my God, I didn't know that was even possible to feel like that. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You about to say something?
But thank you for. I'm going to say thank you for sharing that. You know, right here I put up 988lifeline.org, and that is also on the National Suicide Line, especially if you want to go ahead and go to the website. If you do not text 988, that's also the actual text, because people text as well. That's a normal quick thing to do. We have some people that just chimed in.
Don Juan said, got me in tears, brother. Thank you for sharing. And Z says, sending respect and good vibes to you, Specs.
Yeah, I'll say this, you know, dealing with depression for a long time. I remember when I was 16, I had a doctor say, if you feel like you're that low, talk to anybody. I don't care if it's a stranger on the street. You have no idea, because that voice of reasoning and that person just listening can do a difference. And it's a shame, you know, because like you said, you know, people learn to cover things up, right, with smiles. And, you know, right before Twitch committed suicide, he posted a video. He's dancing and he's doing this joyous TikTok moves, you know, that he's used to doing. So definitely, you never know who's hurting or who's in a bad spot. Thanks you once again for sharing that, and thank you once again for going on there. We have a comment real quick.
Cash said, glad to hear you're doing better, brother. It's all scary because we're still here struggling to understand depression and suicide and how to recognize and prevent it.
Yeah. Exactly. I can say one thing. Coming out of it, I never did like vaping and all that. I went to dispensary April, and I know I'm late, but when I would smoke something, I would feel kind of depressed. I would smoke something and felt happy from nothing. That to me was amazing, because you feel like a little depressed. I don't know, smoke that, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing, because other medications have side effects, but the cannabis was like, yo, I can feel happy, and it was amazing. So I'm just saying that one thing helps.
And you know what? And there's many different things, you know, for people who don't smoke. Maybe they want to find sanctuary and joy within maybe they're religious, or maybe they go to church, or maybe they go to a mosque of some sort, or maybe just like you say, writing or taking some self-reflection, meditation, whatever that is, find it, because definitely these people are a family, right? People that you don't even know, are suffering, so just reach out. So definitely thank you once again for sharing that, Specs. My last little tidbit, this is another topic that's a little heavy. Roe v. Wade. So,
well, real quick before we jump into that, we did get a really good comment in there. If you could get it on the screen, it says, "Hi, Tara said this is a texting society, and we need to learn to go back to the old landmark and start calling our friends and family."
Right.
Very true. Very true. Times have
you can
definitely
hide.
changed.
You can hide in the text. I'm telling you right now, you can hide in the text. You can hide in the text. Well, there's someone that knows you, like, it's what's going on? So it's harder to hide it when somebody's in your face. But if you text in there, you can be like, "How you doing? I'm great."
No, you're not. Right. Yeah. You know what? A note taken. Thank you, Hatab. I will be applying that personally.
Well, the last topic for me that I'll be talking about today is abortion. So in 2022, the Supreme Court made a grand decision. And a lot of people didn't know what was going to happen, but once Trump set the stage and he kind of put his players in play, the Supreme Court came back into their little office, and they kind of said, you know what, we're going to change some stuff. And one of the things was legalizing abortion. And at the end of the day, it stirred a lot of people. So you had a lot of people that were real happy, like, yay, God doesn't want people to abort babies. Think about the babies. Then you had a lot of people like, wait, women's rights. This is a touchy subject. We've talked about it in the past. But at the same time, we have a lot of different things that are going on because the states are now doing a lot of different things to go ahead and make sure that if you are going to have an abortion and they find out, you could be criminalized. They also have a state of Florida. It doesn't matter if you got raped or there's incest. You have to have that baby. There are cases of young ladies, young women who are in those type of categories, and they have to leave the state. Louisiana is one of them as well. This is a topic that was real hot. They were really, really talking about it. Kind of died down, but it's still going on. What do you guys feel about that?
I don't think it died down, actually. I think that's what cost the Republican Party the most in this election, that they should have had their so-called red wave. I think more so than absolutely anything. I think that was the thumb on on the needle, if you would, that made people go, I don't know that we want to go back to a time where we have other people making decisions. We have people most legislators are men that have never been pregnant, will never be pregnant, that have kids they don't know about, right? They have kids their wives don't know about. You know what I mean? Yeah. But they're making decisions for people that they have never met and have no right to make decisions for. Right? I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. I've been pregnant 2 times and I have 2 children. I personally would not make that decision. But I will tell you something else. I will never, ever, ever make a decision for anybody else. I think that it is so insanely personal and so very private, and that judge not lest you be judged. You know what I mean? That is, and that stands true in just about any belief system that I can think of, right? So a woman making a decision to terminate a pregnancy, most women aren't going to do that casually. Most women are not just, yes, there's an anomaly, there's always the exception to the rules, right? And maybe you know somebody that does it for sport or whatever, right? But for the most part, women that are making those decisions, especially women that have been raped, can you imagine your body being violated and then violated again, where you have doctors probing you to look into this child that you are carrying for someone that you see as a demon. Like I find that it's
Yeah.
the whole subject is repulsive. It just is.
It's amazingly fucked up. Like, but they need white babies. But the whole rape thing, to rape somebody, to get raped, then be pregnant, and then say, you know what, we're gonna force you to have the baby of your rapist, is something that no man could ever imagine. Even if a man gets raped, he doesn't have to stick with
get pregnant.
the growth of the rapist inside of him and say, hey, this should, like, that's something that is not even in the,
Well, I'll take it a step further. So I live in the state of Florida. Let me get a little personal. I live in the state of Florida and I have my tubes tied. And if I got pregnant right now, I would have to get an abortion because you cannot have
it would be a topic. Yeah.
You can't have that type of pregnancy. With that being said, that's against the law. So wait a second, Mr. Governor. Are you telling me right now that you rather me die? Because doctors are afraid to actually give the abortions to the women because I can't have an atopic pregnancy. I can't. I'll die. It'll rupture and I'll literally die. You cannot have.
You have to wait for the rupture. That's the fucked up thing. You gotta wait, and you might die. Go to the hospital.
You might die during the rupture, and that is the thing that's scary because you can't. So you can't go from state to state, trying to outrun a law. But with that being said, it's like, wow, they're that careless. There are women who literally have hemorrhaged out because the doctor will not touch you because they cannot give that abortion.
Right. I was about to say that. Yes.
And it's sickening. So of course you have to guess. The incest is sickening. The rape is sickening. But then you have somebody like, okay, I'm dying. Like literally, I am bleeding out. People, help me, Jesus Christ. And you would let that ride. Like, wow.
And when a doctor has to stop, look at you, and then call the legal department and be like, well, she's hemorrhaging and all this. And how far is that? Okay, well, she hasn't bled enough. She's not about to die right now, but probably like 2 hours.
They use the Bible. They say excuses. They say, oh, well, it's God's way. Let me go to
an abortion. But here's the thing. Here's the thing in the Bible. God condones the abortion. He does. It's in Numbers. It's a thing. So when I read it, I was like, yo. But these people aren't Christian. But these people aren't Christian. Like they don't follow Jesus. Jesus. If you're a Christian and you follow the Bible, then you have to follow Jesus, and they don't. So like that's all buffoonery anyway. But yeah, I get it.
So it says it pisses me off. They want to make those choices for women, but still want to cut off the money for funding for orphanages and child caring programs.
Right.
That's what she and he said. Yes. They're going after abortion, same-sex marriage, and interracial relationships. Remember the statement, let's make America great again. That is true. Definitely. Yeah. Question. The idea behind this is the religious context that this is murder. Your thoughts on that? Well, I can say that I personally do not per se follow the Bible, if that makes any sense. I'm not the one to say, well, in Deuteronomy 21:12, I'm not the individual. The reason why I don't do it like that is because if we were to follow the Bible, then any woman that bleeds should be sitting outside of the house for the next month and just don't talk to me, just throw a tampon and a pad on my head. But that's if we were going verbatim from what the Bible says. I think that when it comes to standing behind a religion or any sacred text, because let's just say they were Muslim and they're like, and the Quran says, I think that's a cop-out. I think that's a cop-out because when you have any type of sacred text, it could be, Bhagavad Gita, the Bible, the any sacred, book, you could say, well, I felt that this said this way, and I'm going to make a law based on that, which is bullshit.
And that's what's happening. And that's what's happening right now because so-called Christians don't know the Bible, because the Old Testament is the Torah. And ask any Jewish person, can you have an abortion? Because the Torah and the Old Testament says yes. You're not. God doesn't see you until He breathes life into you. So when you're born and you breathe, that's when you are born. That's when
where
you're
it gets
alive.
but that's where it gets muddy, because if we're going to stand behind something and says the Bible says, then we're opening up a can of worms. That's why they try to separate church from state.
Right. But I'm saying people that are winning this argument are using the Bible. So I'm just saying, since they're gonna use the Bible, let's use the Bible. I'm not Christian. I grew up Baptist, but I left that stuff alone. But I know enough about it to tell you, when they use the Bible, because when somebody uses a weapon, know how they use a weapon and use it against them. Yeah. So the Bible and the Torah, the Old Testament and the Torah are the same book. That's why Jesus is in the New Testament. The Torah is the Old Testament. The Old Testament talks about abortion, and it's fine. That's why when Jewish people, when they came up to them, they were like, "Oh no, it's not. It's not against the law in the Torah for me to get an abortion." Now they say you're not supposed to go out and get them all the time, but if you need to get one, and it's fine. So when people are Christian and say, "Well, this is God," I was like, no. Read your Bible. Start again. So, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
So he says here, because in Muslim traditions, abortion, homosexuality is considered damning and straight shot to hell. I mean, like I said, that's why you want to make sure that we don't mix religion with state, because we'll have all different types of stuff where we're going to, like I said, if we literally were following the Bible, if Liz and I were having our period,
the Bible says you can't shave your face if you're a man. So, like,
I mean, we'd be sitting outside. We can't even come in the house. I mean, I don't.
There's a lot.
Right? In terms of using religion, at the end of the day, and I'm going to speak here. And I'm not the Christian that goes to church every Sunday. Let's not go with that, right? But I do follow the teachings of the Bible and everything else. And one of the, I guess, two of the most important teachings that I get out of it, right? Again, I'm going to repeat: judge not, lest you be judged. Right? So that's one of them. And all have sinned and come short, right? All sin is equal. There is no sin greater than the other sin. So the fact of the matter is, if you're divorced, don't talk to me about abortion. Right? If you had sex outside of marriage, don't talk to me about abortion. If you've coveted somebody that is not your spouse, don't talk to me about abortion. If you're gay or whatever other thing they want to fall under, that's a wrong thing. If you can fall into any of those categories, and all have sinned, right? Even the newborn babe somehow has managed to sin or will, then don't talk to me about that.
Like with tomorrow, sin.
Makeup. Sin. I mean, it's a thing, right? So
nails are a sin now. Jezebel.
All I'm saying is that the argument gets a little ridiculous.
But going back to the whole premise of the abortion topic, I can say that I do think that is going to play a big role in the election time, just because you have a lot of people. This may not affect our parents, right? Because they went through menopause and they can't have a baby or whatever that looks like. But this does affect, maybe us and our children and our grandchildren, so forth and so on. So this is an important topic that we have to kind of look at and hone key. At the end of the day, no man should be talking about any woman's body. If we can't make laws about your body and what you should be doing with it, damn sure should be talking about mine. So at the end of the day, I do think that this topic is not going to go away, and this topic will affect a lot of people's decisions during the election time frame.
Mm-hmm.
I got more. Do you got one more topic, Liz? Because I'm done for my topics.
No, but I'm gonna use this one to tie it back to where we started, right? I
Okay.
will say that the people that are loudest about being anti-abortion and we gotta save the babies are the same people that are extremely permissive and pro-gun. And when they go into these
Yeah.
schools and they shoot these babies, because that's where we started talking about Uvalde and the mass shootings and everything else. Where is your protect the baby madness then? Why aren't you up in arms? Why aren't you out there, trying to make those people accountable? Why are you talking to women about cells, right? Because that's what it's coming down to. It's a sperm that fertilizes an egg, and what you got is a cell. And you're willing to go to bat, bomb places, which kills people,
Right.
which were babies at one point. You're willing to walk into abortion clinics and shoot the place up. You're willing to allow people to walk into elementary schools and nightclubs and other places. The women like myself that have chosen to have our children, I am begging you, pro baby people, the ones that love babies and want to do anything to protect the little cuties and everything else, protect my child. I'm tired of thinking
Right.
that my kid's going to go to school and I don't know what's going to literally pop off today. So you people that are out here trying to protect the babies, my baby needs protecting. Do something about these gun laws in 2023 other than offer thoughts and prayers and you're concerned for what's going to happen in my womb. Mind your business and take care of the kid I already had. Appreciate you. So
Well, we got
Don Juan said
Exactly.
they'd rather protect the gun lobbyists. We need to change our government officials. We need to change a lot of things, actually.
yeah,
One.
So,
yeah. Well, just to kind of wrap it up, that actually was Liz's last words with Liz. You said that real good. I didn't put the little title up, but just to wrap it up and everything, I didn't get a chance to talk about Will Smith slapped the nation. We talked about it when it initially happened earlier this year, but I'm tired of talking about Will Smith.
Yeah.
And when it comes to Russia invasion, they're still invading. I don't know what the hell Putin's doing. I guess he's trying to still do something, but it looks like we got Ukraine coming in. He's trying to really join NATO this time, so that will happen. I think Specs thing finally went out. And last thing I had was monkeypox, RSV, and the flu. Guys, stay safe. If you're out there
mhm.
eating ass, monkeypox is still out there, so you don't want to get it because it gets all over you don't eat the ass.
You know what? I have good
Oh,
news. We can wrap on when you going through your monkeypox ass eating nonsense.
I'm just saying that they say that if you eating the ass, okay.
I have amazing, great news. So you guys know in February I do my Black Future Month initiative, and we sell T-shirts and we raise funds for a college student towards their books and so on and so forth. The young lady that we were able to contribute to this year and last year, her name was Zaya. If I'm not mistaken, she was attending SUNY Oswego. Notice I said was in the past tense, right? And so she graduated. So you guys that contributed, that's our investments paying in dividends. Congratulations to Zaya. She makes us so proud. My heart just about burst when she said it. I want you guys to stay tuned via this medium or whatever other one. I'm working on possibly a new design for this year, but Black Future Month, I will be engaged. We will be giving away some more funds. We're going to be helping some college students someplace pay for textbooks. So it's grown on its concepts. Although I haven't updated the website in a while, it is still out there. Let's see. We got comments rolling in.
Wait. So we got one person that said, "I'll keep my guns." I'll keep my guns too, but at the end of the day,
Yeah,
we still protect the kids.
keep your guns and your hands out of my womb.
That's it. We're going to protect the kids too. The Russian offense has been stalled. Hopefully, longer than it should.
So, oh wow, we got Toya came in. She said, "So, what date and time next week, ladies?"
I don't know if it's going to be next week, but I promise you that we'll do the show more often. When I tell you we've been so busy on the back end.
It's been crazy. It has.
Yes, but we have not forgotten this great conversation talking about all types of stuff. What were we talking? We were talking about mass shootings, definitely a serious topic, suicides, Roe v. Wade. We talking about monkeypox and ass eating. We talking about Nick Cannon. I just wanted to say the word ass eating. That was so funny. And remember I made the sound? That's the booty chicks and Nick Cannon. Anyway, let me see. What we got here? Yeah, that was
So, yay, that's my niece. Congrats to her. Then we got thanks via Zaya. Miss y'all guys. Love the show. And then somebody said, outstanding job on the young lady, Liz. So I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. This is one of the ones I know that we're doing this year. It says advancing the legacy every day. The other side of the other shirt that kind of goes with it, it just says, you are a future ancestor. Advance the legacy. So those are words I'm leaving you with in 2022. In 2023, more to come. I really, really do miss and love you guys.
I miss you guys. Love you guys. Happy New Year.